Hey guys, here's another edition of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. As you can see, the EV motor went in the 69 EV Bug today. So Leo from Friaza Customs, which is our partner shop that's doing the bulk of the EV installation, has been coming over here this week, and he installed these couple modules before. I talked about those previously. The rear battery box is in. That's been installed previously. I guess I'm just kind of reviewing here. The front battery box with a bunch of electronics is installed too. But yeah, today the actual motor went in, which was kind of exciting. You know, it's funny, this motor, just looking at its size, I mean, you can kind of see my hand here for reference, is not that big. And when we moved the thing today from his shop into his truck, and then from his truck onto the jack before we put it in the car, I was actually amazed at how heavy this motor is. I really expected it to be fairly light. I think honestly, and I don't know the exact weight, but to me it felt about as heavy as a VW motor, a gasoline motor. I don't know for sure, but this thing is super heavy. I guess it's got tons of metal on the inside. It's very heavy, and obviously the housing itself is pretty thick. It's got a flywheel on it and a pressure plate on it, and so on. Actually, sorry, no flywheel. Well, it's got something like a flywheel, but no starter gear. But it does have a pressure plate and a clutch disc on it, and I guess something kind of resembling a flywheel that all that stuff's mounted to. Anyway, yeah, super heavy, but pretty exciting to get it in there. This thing's really starting to look like an actual EV now. Prior to this week, it looked like any kind of motor could have been going in there. I guess the assumption would have probably been a VW motor for somebody who didn't know any better, but now this is unmistakably an EV. So there you go. We'll probably take the car over to Leo's shop maybe in a week or so, and it'll live over there for a while he's routing all these wires back and forth on this thing to get it all hooked up and get it running. So yeah, big accomplishment today on this car. The other thing today was I think I mentioned this before, the 36 horsepower long block has come in for this car, this beautiful Prarie Beige 57. This was long block was rebuilt by Dave at Performance Motoring just around the corner for us here in Orange. And so I mentioned previously, this is going to be a really nice motor. We've got all of the tin work already powder coated, and body work and everything done previous to that and straightened out, and we went and selected all the best of the best for the tin that we had available for this car. So probably next week the motor will start going from long block to an actual complete motor. So one thing that we hadn't done yet is restore a fuel pump and a carburetor, and this actually has the wrong distributor on it, so we need to do that too. So today I just started a little bit of that sort of stuff. So you can see the fuel pump here is disassembled and cleaned. The fuel pump, I don't know if this thing had been sitting in the water or what, but here is the diaphragm from it, and the whole outside of the fuel pump kind of looked like this real kind of orange rust color. Pretty much the whole thing looked like that. It was disgusting. So pulled it apart, blasted it, as is usually the case with these. This mating surface right here was not remotely flat. They get warped. People over tighten them, and this surface here warps. They don't seal well, they leak oil. So after I got it cleaned up, I took and sanded this surface here flat to where it's going to seal. And then likewise, where the top goes on these, this is also usually not flat. So I spent quite a bit of time sanding that flat, and then likewise with the mating surface here, got it good and flat. So these go together super nice now. This pump should not leak at all. And started restoring the hardware for it here, the original screws. We'll have all this stuff zinc plated. The other thing is the owner of that car didn't have the correct carburetor for it, so we pulled a Solex 28 PIC out of stock that we had, and I started pulling it apart. So we'll go and zinc plate all the metal parts and clean up everything else and blast this carburetor down, get it looking like new. So this thing will be absolutely beautiful when it's done, but for now it's kind of gross. So it's kind of fun to see it go from this to what it's going to look like when it's done. So those were the main things in the shop today. A lot of time talking to other shops about different projects. For example, the owner of this bus double cab is interested in having air conditioning on it, so talked to a vendor that sells a unit for this today and started trying to figure that out. And she's also interested in putting a stereo in it. She's got a hole in the dash now, so spent a while talking to a stereo shop about that and so on. So yeah, a lot of the usual kind of stuff running the business. Unfortunately, you can't spend 100% of your time working on cars. You've got to also run a business, which sometimes involves talking to other shops and making phone calls, all that boring stuff. But yeah, did get to have some fun today, starting to restore a fuel pump and a carburetor, putting the EV motor in this guy. So yeah, good day overall. So thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.